Hey everybody, welcome to the District 14 Round 7 and 8 Battle Creek National Hare Scramble. This is my first national race and it was a pretty fun one. Right in front of me there you got Jimmy and Jeff Carroll on 420K and 418K, pony down. Had a lot of fun on this track. It was challenging, not very smooth. Got my best start of the season so far. Normally I do not get it on the first kick, and I didn't get it on the first kick this time, but I did get it on the second kick. And that's a big difference than usual, because normally it's 4 or 5. So I missed that pile up there. Jimmy Carroll got stuck in it, but he was okay. So I think right now I'm somewhere around 6th or 7th place. Right there in the upper left-hand corner, Bussard almost runs this guy on the Kawasaki over. In the meantime, Jeff Carroll tries to take me out in that corner. No, he just stuffed it up in there and caught me off guard. This race, compared to my previous races, I was feeling pretty good. I felt like I was riding more aggressively. There were a lot of nerves this race, being that it was a national race and there was a cash payout. You know, I knew that guys were going to be racing hard, so I wanted to try and stay out of their way. But at the same time, I wanted to do as good as I could. Looking back at the video now, you know, there's definitely areas I could have pushed harder. But you know, again, I'm still just kind of getting used to it. And to be totally honest, this track did really wear me out after a while. But it was a great track, and I'll be looking forward to it next year for sure. So right here, Jeff Carroll is pony down. He's out front of me. He and I went back and forth quite a bit this first lap. We were having a pretty good race, and I had a little mishap on the second lap that you'll see. That kind of took me out of contention completely, but I did finish the race. And he ended up actually getting 5th, which was his best finish of the season. So that was pretty exciting for him. His brother Jimmy, Pony Jr., as Bussard calls him, had a clutch issue, and if I'm not mistaken, there was also a shifter issue. I think when he went down in that crash, the shifter got kind of messed up too. That root right there almost took me out, and then that some poor guy lost his seat in the middle of the track, and of course I ran it right over. So hopefully I didn't mess your seat up too bad. Yeah, I don't know. So this section here, I felt like I was riding pretty fast through it. Looking at the video, maybe not so impressive. Got a guy off in the woods there. I think that's the same dude on that Kawasaki. He clearly had a very fast bike, but he was kind of all over the place. So maybe pushing a little too hard to try and win that money. This track here, there was a couple bypasses. There was actually, I think, 3 of them. The 2 of them didn't really affect your time at all. You might lose 10 seconds or so, nothing major. And then there was a 3rd one that, if you took the bypass, I think they said you could lose, 3 or 4 minutes on. And that particular bypass, I took every time by accident. I never saw where the track was supposed to go until I watched the video, and then I found it. So I was kind of bummed because I was bypassing, by mistake, I was bypassing an endurocross section that earlier in the season would have scared me, but as I've been racing more and more of these races, the endurocross sections are actually kind of fun, and I don't really seem to have too much trouble with them. So there's Pony down. He must have gone down because of something right there. I'm not sure what. I got around him. I know he's coming right behind me. And there was a lot of faster guys out there too that I was staying right with. Not sure if that's Booster right in front of me or not. But yeah, it was a challenging track. My main goal before I started this race was just to stay 100% in control. Everybody says crashing wears you out, and I know that that's definitely true because I crash a lot, or I at least tip over a lot. And yeah, just picking the bike up takes a lot of energy. But at the end of the day, my goal was to try and keep from falling over, and I did a pretty good job of that, which is why I was able to keep getting back around Jeff, and I was at least somewhat competitive this first lap. Oh, there we go. I pulled over knowing that there was some fast guys coming behind me, and I didn't realize that Jeff was the first guy right behind me. And so I let him and looked like 4 or 5 other guys go. So that wasn't fun, but it is what it is. I'm not normally the fast guy, so I figured I'd just get out of their way. So right here is the second bypass. That's just for that little bridge there. Looks like it was roughly 2.5 feet wide, and I'm guessing 16 to 20 feet long. Didn't look like much to me, really. So I was pretty determined on my second lap to go across it, because I figured for sure it would be no problem. But that first lap, they were waving us to the right to go through the bypass, and so I followed the flagman there, and I really wanted to just go across the bridge because it really didn't look difficult. That would end up being my downfall in this race. You'll see it on the second lap. It was pretty gnarly. But in the meantime, I just kept going, lost a couple more spots, but again, I'm not fighting for first place, and really my main goal was just to be consistent, stay upright, and try and not get in anybody's way that was considerably faster than me. Now here's Jeff again. He got stuck behind the guy in front of him, and when he hit the gas, I think he was hung up on a tree or something, almost took me out. I'm glad that he let off when he did, otherwise he would have smashed right into the side of me. So watch where you're going, pony. So we're going to follow him for a little bit here, and I think there was one of the more challenging obstacles coming up here that I really didn't have any problems with, but Jeff had a little bit of an issue with. I felt like this race for sure I was at least keeping up with Jeff, which at this point, Jeff is probably my best comparison. It's my first year racing, it's Jeff's first year racing, and I'm feeling like we're both progressing pretty evenly as far as how well we're riding. Jeff definitely seems to have more energy than I do, at least at the end of the races. So he's able to continue to ride more aggressively. But at least for the first lap, I'm able to keep up with him, which, that at least is a good gauge. I almost went over the handlebars there. That little jump was deceiving. I was forward on the handlebars and almost went over them. But yeah, Jeff is pretty comparable to how I ride. His stamina is maybe just a little bit better than mine, so hopefully I'll get some more workout time in, and hopefully make a push towards the end of the season, or as we get closer and closer to the end of the season here. We've only got a few races left now. But yeah, so this track, you know, it had a little bit of everything. Right here is where the bypass came back in, or the normal track came back into the bypass. So somewhere in that section, I missed where I should have turned off. Like I said, I never did see it until I watched the video, and I did find it towards the end of the video, but I honestly never saw it. But yeah, this track was cool because it was tight and technical in some places, open and flowy in other places, and then there were other spots where it was wide open, just screaming fast straightaways, and yeah, you'd get up into fourth and fifth gear and have it pretty close to bouncing off the rep limiter, so it was kind of fun. And then of course, you know, I had the motocross track mixed into it too, so this track literally had just about everything. I only wish that I had hit the enduro cross portion of the track just to see what that even looked like, because honestly I have no clue. So I'm just trying to keep pace with the rest of these guys right now. There's some faster guys working their way through. FMF gnarly pipe, the head pipe on my bike after the Plymouth Blackhawks race. Since the entire right side of my bike got wiped out, I had to put a new head pipe on it, and I think I need to get it rejetted. At least in this race, it was bogging out pretty bad at high RPMs. It was just loading up, running a little bit rich. It doesn't seem to be excessively rich, but it wasn't running quite right. Tons of low end power, but when you tried to get on the pipe, it just didn't really want to do it. And after pulling the plug, it was pretty wet, pretty black. So I don't think it's an issue of going lean at high RPMs, but it might be because, let's face it, I'm idling through the woods more than I'm on the pipe, so it might be leaning out under high RPMs, and I'm not even noticing because the plug is black. That was a little cool thing. I didn't really have any issues getting over any of these trees. But yeah, I got some little bugs to work out, but nothing crazy. Coming up on Jeff again. He's right there. And we're going to try and make a little bit of a race of this now. Normally I'll follow people, and in this situation I was trying to try a couple different lines because I felt like in that particular section Jeff had slowed down a little bit. I don't know, I'm guessing he must have crashed or had a little hiccup or something that might have taken a little energy from him, and all of a sudden he was riding a little bit slower and I was really feeling like I could get past him, but that particular spot was pretty rooty, and I just couldn't get a drive to get around him. So I figured, well, what the heck? I'll just stay behind him and see how long I can stay with him. And yeah, so I right there. Oh man,
you all right, buddy?
You good, buddy? Oh yeah, no problem. The bruise on his hip side was so bad. he jumped right up, told me he was fine, but I knew it hurt. So again, now I'm in front of him. He's got some catching up to do now, and I'm just gonna try and push myself. But you know, as the case goes, when you're all by yourself, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to keep pushing hard when you don't have anybody around you to motivate you to push a little harder. So we'll just enjoy the scenery a little bit until we have a little bit more action. We'll at least run you through the whole first lap, and then we'll just hit the highlights of the rest of the track, of the race. There's definitely some faster guys making their way through, and you know, it's in some of these areas where I felt like I was pushing hard, these guys had come through, and I mean, you'd see them for half a second, they were gone. It was pretty impressive to see some of these national level guys race. But I didn't have as much problems as I thought that we might. You know, I did get hit by one guy that was maybe a little too aggressive. But all in all, everybody was pretty courteous, and that was nice, because I was definitely concerned about getting taken out by one of these guys racing for money. So the only complaint that I had about this track was lots and lots of roots sticking out of the ground. It made it really slick. I've been contemplating trying one of the Shinko, what is it, the cheater, it's like a cheater trials tire. The reviews on it are pretty good, and it's a pretty cheap tire, so I might get those, just try them out, because everybody's saying even on slick routes and muddy situations, they just have incredible grip. I put a brand new set of Methlers on after the second round, and they've done pretty well for me, but I still think they're a little bit harder than I'd like them to be. So when I hit the slick tree roots and stuff, the tires slide right out real easy. And honestly, I think a softer tire would even help in the sand, but I'm not positive. So we'll just have to maybe think about trying that and see how it goes. So at this point, I'm still, you know, kind of in my own little world, just kind of cruising through the trees, not really pushing too hard. Definitely maintaining my goal of keeping this bike under control for this race. You know, again, you know, it was just my main goal was just to keep the bike upright so that I didn't waste a bunch of energy picking it up and trying to start it and everything else. So, yeah, I probably should have been pushing a little harder. I could have been more competitive, but you know, at this point, I was just riding. One thing I will say is, you know, there's certain areas where it looks like it's just straight and smooth, and like I shouldn't have had any problems going faster. But you know, like I said, there was very few spots on this track that were actually smooth. It seemed like there was always dips and whoops and, you know, all kinds of little up and down sections where, you know, it really wore you out. and just I tried to stand as much as I could, and I did better this race than I normally do, but even Booster was saying in his video, his knees were starting to hurt, and I'm here to tell you this track was a killer on your knees, especially if you're not used to standing, because I'm just starting to get used to it. It was a killer on your knees for sure. So there you see you got tons of trees down, roots down, all kinds of little obstacles. This was definitely a challenging track, and yeah, like I said, it was every bit what I would have pictured a national level track to be. So the Battle Creek guys did an amazing job. The track held up awesome. Really, there was no major complaints about ruts, not roots, ruts, and stuff building up. The track really did hold together pretty well, so there was no major complaints there. And yeah, this is one of the massive straightaways. Lots and lots of fun. It's you get to areas like that where it is kind of straight and smooth, and you've got to go fast to be competitive in those areas, but you almost wish that you were able to just kind of putz and let your body catch up from all the whoops and dips and the rest of the track. So it wasn't a lot of space to take a breather on this track, except the motocross track, which I had a lot of fun on, but I need more work. The nice thing about this track was, even where it got tight, I never felt like it was excessively tight, where you're knocking your bars on both ends, you can't even pull between trees straight. Like right there you could see that there was some bark missing on those trees, but if you were careful you could get through it without banging your bars. But there's some other tracks we've been to this year where the track leads you right in between trees that are really too close to get through unless you cut your bars down. So there was definitely some fast guys coming. About time. I've been kind of on my own for quite a while here, so I was expecting some people to be coming up behind me. because I had no idea how long they were. So, especially on this first lap, I didn't push it very hard at all. But the second and third laps, I started really letting it open up. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But of course, you know, the first lap, not having seen the track at all, you know, you don't you don't want to go into fifth gear and have the trail just end. That would be bad. So I took it easy on the first lap for sure. But I wish that I had been pushing it harder, because those sections were definitely fun. It's not too often that we get to ride any of these tracks where you're actually capable of getting into fifth gear. So when you do, it's pretty fun. There's Jeff again. He was like, "What? Seriously, you're gonna let me by?" I said, "Oh yeah, go for it." I shouldn't have let you by, buddy, but I was already sitting there waiting for other people. And actually, the two people I let by were in my class, so I shouldn't have let them by either. But you know, it's just the same old situation. I'm not sure who's coming up behind me, so being that I'm not usually the competitive guy, I'll just get out of the way. Now, the problem that I'm running into here is I think I got pretty complacent riding by myself as long as I did, or just having the faster guys blast past me. I had a hard time getting back up to speed to stay with those guys after I let them by, and they're in my class, so I shouldn't be losing them that fast. Not saying that I'll be able to stay with them all the time, but they shouldn't have gotten away from me as fast as they did, that's for sure. So this little section here, we're coming up to this cool little aluminum bridge, and this thing was pretty sick. It was pretty steep on both sides, and I guess a couple people hit it a little too fast and kind of cleared it and went into the trees on the other side. I can only imagine how scary that would have been. Actually, I'm not even sure. Maybe we're not even to it yet. That little section of the track looked like it. We might be a couple minutes away from it still. If anybody knows where, you know, I know there was a photographer right there taking pictures, and I know that this guy right here was one of the fast guys. I heard him coming, and I got over as far as I could, like almost ran into that tree, and he had all those ferns and stuff that he could have gone past me on, and he nailed me. And that was really disappointing. I was pretty upset because, you know, I gave him just as much room as I could possibly give him, and he hit me with his handlebars, and then his foot peg grabbed a hold of the side of my boot and dragged me to the ground. And you know, I'm sitting there laying on the ground, he's just gone. So that I thought was a little bit excessively rough, but other than that, I felt like the guys that were faster were being reasonable, you know, with giving you time to get out of the way, and you know, not just running you over when you did get out of the way. So anyways, what I was saying, the photography, I see these professional photographers out all the time, and I know on the AMA or District 14 website it says something about Leah's Starlight Photography or something like that. When you click on it, it's like a dead link, and then when you go to the Facebook page, all there's wedding pictures. I'm like, I know that I had found some pictures from the Portland Hare Scramble earlier this year, but I haven't seen any pictures from any races since. So if anybody knows how to find these pictures that are being taken of us while we're racing, I'd like to see what shots they may or may not have of me. So if anybody's aware of it, put it in the comments section, because I'd really like to see it. So yeah, I guess I was off a little bit on where that bridge section was, but I know we're coming up to it close, because we've only got a couple more minutes till the end of the lap. This was a long track. I'm having a hard time remembering now. I know it was over 8 miles, and I wanna say it was like 8.6 miles. By far the longest track that we've raced, at least that I've raced this year. Here's that bridge. So that thing's pretty steep. And yeah, like I said, I heard that at least one guy cleared that thing and went into the trees. So that must have been pretty exciting. The motocross track here, I haven't gotten comfortable jumping yet. By this point, we've already run the second round of Valley Trail Riders. I did a lot better, thanks to the fantastic time that I got on this track. I kind of figured out somewhere in this section that, you know, when you're in that nasty deep sand in these corners, instead of downshifting into first gear, keep it in second gear and let that back tire eat, and it pulls you through a lot faster. There's Jeff. Jimmy crashed in that first corner, and then his clutch went out, and I think his shifter's all messed up, but he was sitting there talking to Jimmy, and I passed him, and the race is on now. I did not know it at the time, but Jeff was on a mission to catch me, and at least watching his video, seemed like I held my own pretty decent on this motocross track against him. Now, if this was a week and a half ago at Valley Trail Riders, then it would have looked a lot better. But, you know, limited time on motocross tracks this year, I'm not comfortable yet. But I am getting better, and I'm figuring out how to get through the turns and keep my speed up. And I'm starting to get more comfortable with at least getting a little bit of airtime. Certainly, right there, I cleared that little step up, which was cool, but I had too much speed going into that corner, which kind of scared me. Right here, hit the bars pretty hard. Then I had to kind of let off because I didn't want to do that again. That hurt. But, you know, it's just situations like that where, you know, just kind of feeling it out, getting used to it, being okay with getting some air. I don't think I'm ever going to be that person that's hitting doubles and triples, but at least to be able to keep my speed up, it'd be good, because like right here, I get decent speed, but then I grab a fistful of rear brakes, and right at the peak of the face of the jump, and that kind of ruins it for me. You know, I could just float over that and land on the tabletop with no issue, but, you know, fear kind of holds me back. So, you know, the more time I get on these tracks, the better it's going to be. And, you know, I've actually considered there's a track not too far from my house. I think it's only about 20 minutes away. I got to check into it. I might see about going there for an open track day and seeing about just getting more comfortable on the jumps and stuff. So that was the first lap right here. The sand is super deep. Again, just eats my tire. Down I go. Bike flooded. Took me like 3 minutes to get it started. I think I'm having a little bit of carburetor issues, but I didn't really have a whole lot of problems on this race, so I didn't focus on it. But the Valley Trail Riders race the following weekend I had a ton of problems with it flooding and not wanting to start. So before the race at Polka Dots, I will be tearing the carburetor apart and cleaning it out. We'll see about rejetting it. I don't want to do anything too crazy because I'm thinking I might just have a jet or something that might be plugged. Well, I'm not even sure, but I know that my intake boot is pretty chapped up right here. Oh man. Okay, so here's the bridge. Slow motion for ya. Almost made it. Back tire caught the edge. It was over. Sent my back tire in one direction, front tire in the opposite direction. Yeah, that hurt.
Alright? Yeah, just knocked the wind out of me.
Landed hard on my left shoulder. Knocked the wind out of me. My shoulder's been clicking and popping ever since. I'm pretty sure I might have to go to the doctor and see what the damage is. Yeah, these guys said I was dangerous. That's my middle name, Dangerous, or Danger. No, those guys were sitting there telling me I was going the dangerous way because the rocks were all slick right there. Well, those guys were standing where the rocks were dry, so it was kind of forcing me to go that way, even though they were saying, oh, you should come this way. Well, yeah, it would have been nice, but I really didn't feel like hitting anybody either, so I went through the dangerous spot and probably shouldn't have. So yeah, these are just the little highlights of how I thought I got a little bit better and better in these sections. There's a couple little surprises that we're going to run into, but again, all in all, I really like this track. I got some work to do on a bike for this race this weekend, but every race seems to be getting better. I ended up finishing 14th in national points for the C. I think it was like 30 plus C class or something like that. And I thought after the national points came out, or after the district points came out, that I might actually move up in the points, or my position, because I know we started our class with people like Booster who are actually in our class. So I thought, well, that's at least going to be one spot that I would make up. Well, I think I ended up actually finishing in 16th in the district standings. So I actually lost at least 2 spots. So I was a little bit disappointed there, but it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about that. It was just fun to be able to be a part of the national race, check it out, and yeah, like I said, I'll be looking forward to this race next year for sure. But yeah, I kind of cleaned it up. Obviously, after that crash off that bridge, that really wiped me out. I lost about 3 minutes at the timing blocks when I fell, and then to catch my breath and everything after I fell off that bridge, it took me probably a good 10 minutes. So I was roughly 15 minutes behind. Right here, this dude went into the woods and looks like he hit that tree. I hope he was alright, because that looked like that could have been bad. But yeah, it just kind of wiped me out. I was tired, but I was really looking for my 4th lap at this race, and I came in to the timing blocks at 2 hours and 7 seconds. Right there. That's where I needed to go to not do the bypass, which I never saw during the race, and I was really disappointed because I thought that I might be able to do decent through there. This dude, not sure what happened. He was down hard. Ride her down! Guy in the white shirt starts running, so At least he heard me. I hope that guy was okay too, because at least the fall prints looked like he landed pretty hard. I'm not sure how he did it, but yeah, it looked like it was a pretty bad crash. And that's obviously what keeps me from hitting big jumps. I hope you guys liked this video. Look for the Valley Trail Riders video. I'm going to try and get that posted tomorrow, since that's already happened, and Polka Dots is this weekend. So I'd like to try and get these videos narrated and posted before the race. So, hopefully you liked it, and hopefully we'll see you guys at Polka Dots.